long way. But my fellow Ace colonists, if you were part of the Discord, you get that joke. The time is finally upon us, and the trailer for the third Sonic movie is here. If you spent even several seconds in close proximity to this channel, you'll know just how special the character of Shadow the Hedgehog is to me. And while I've already done all those shrill screams of joy that you see around YouTube already, I think that, but louder and with more crying. But now, I think it's time we analyze the trailer with a more level head and discuss of what it might mean for the third movie story as well as Shadow's character. They gave away a lot more than I was expecting for our first trailer. So let's dive right in, shall we? The trailer opens with a conversation between Tom and Sonic. Tom is praising Sonic for going through everything he did and still managing to find his family without ever changing who he is. I guess a nice joke too to Shadow, who, spoiler alert, did let the horrific tragedy he suffered change him. The models for these guys look super clean. Like I know with each passing year, CGI technology gets better, but it definitely feels like the budget was ramped up for this movie. Who would have thought that we would end up here after what nearly started out ignoring the fact that there probably wouldn't have been any sequels? We probably, like, starting down the barrel of this, we would get an aerial shot of Prison Island, and it seems a bit smaller than it did in Sonic Adventure 2. So I get the impression that we won't be spending very long here in the movie. We finally lay eyes on Shadow properly as he's breaking out of the facility, and once again, I just have to take my hat off to the visuals because my boy is looking good. It's not clear who exactly released Shadow here, though, and that question only continues to grow as the trailer moves on, living up to be an adaptation of the movie opts out to have gone higher. Team Sonic takes on Shadow, which is quite a big pivot away from the whole mistaken identity and gone relentlessly hunting Sonic that Sonic Adventure 2 went for. The gun commander explains to Sonic that Shadow's story is a lot like his, but where he found family and friends, Shadow only found pain and loss, which at a basic level, and especially so in the movie universe, is a pretty great way of summing up for the audience how Sonic and Shadow are different. The shot of Maria and Shadow holding up their hands through the glass gave me serious Project Shadow vibes. Seriously, if you haven't watched it or my video on it, do yourself a favor. It's a must-watch for any Shadow fan. We then do move on the scene that's what we've all been wondering about, and see Shadow and Gerald crouch over Maria's body. And I'm not gonna lie, this fucking visceral recognition. But this scene looks like you would expect it to if you watched it at fucking dead. Punches you right in the gut with how small the world must feel right now for Shadow and Gerald as the gun soldiers close in around them. I really hope that this isn't all we get in the movie though, and that we I dare only imagine how good the full scene would be. If they do this right, they're gonna have the audience rooting for Shadow to end the world, and personally, I think that should always be the goal. One thing I'm wondering about, though, is exactly where this scene takes place. You'd have to assume the Ark, since that's where it all went down in the game universe. But here, we can see up-turn vehicles. I'm guessing the aftermath of the soldiers' fight with Shadow. But why would they have arrived in TRS if they were attacking a space colony? And why would a space colony need them if they were already there? And the distinct lack in obvious arc anywhere else in the trailer honestly has me confused. Granted, it is only the first trailer, so anything can change. But it is first still only a bit weird, and I do think that we should probably strap ourselves in and make peace with the fact that this is an adaptation. Though because seemingly a lot has changed in how they're delivering the story, the fight against Shadow now seems to be a global, with some even taking place in London. In the nod to the iconic scene from Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic and his friends jump in face Shadow, where they are treated to some playful banter between Sonic and Knuckles. Knuckles is busting Sonic's chops about Shadow being far more impressive than the last Hedgehog he fought. And it's nice to see that not only bro-ship have in the second movie continue, but more of their movie dynamic reflecting in what we now see in the games. What continuity is important and will make the transition from movie to game all the more easier for new fans. And with the movie, I anticipate a lot of new Sonic fans, and it really is a good time for the series. We then finally get to hear Shadow speak. You're a colorful bunch. It wasn't the line I was expecting, but my money would have been on the classic Faker exchange, but it's definitely something I can imagine Adventure era's Shadow saying, and while I am very happy with the choice of Keanu Reeves, it only makes me wish that somehow David Humphrey could have taken the role. But I'm biased, so who gives a shit? Now let's see what's probably the only thing I've heard people complain about in this trailer, and that is Knuckles getting humbled by Shadow. All I'll say is, look, I agree it is a shame on its 30th anniversary, and on the manner in which he is simply overpowered, obviously isn't great for a character whose main deal is strength. But everyone got their asses kicked. Tails and Sonic 2, and Knuckles got this very same courtesy in his debut movie. He was unstoppable. In this Shadows movie, you can bet your ass he's going to live up to the title of Ultimate Life Form. Over the course of the movie, I think things will come right, and everyone will get their moment to shine. But seriously, Shadow is a beast here, and I'm not sure if this is meant to be a Chaos Snap or a full-on Chaos Control. But there's no sign of an echo, and he's just whooping all over the damn place and kicking ass. His run animation is just perfection as well, and thinking about seeing this all on the big screen just puts a big old smile on my stupid ass face. God damn, I love this franchise. Then you see a ship rising from the Thames in London, a ship that I'm really hoping is not meant to replace the Ark, before getting some shots of Shadow escape from Prison Island, and of course he gets that awesome signature Chaos Snap kick in, because why shouldn't we get to see Tom in trouble and dressed in a gun uniform for some reason before Shadow activates what looks to be some sort of wormhole while Team Sonic is tied up. I'm hoping this isn't the doomsday scenario that Shadow sets out to activate, because that's simply not as cool as the Bio-Lizard and crashing the Ark into Earth, especially since it looks like this TS place on board that ship came out of the river. I feel like I shouldn't be this nervous that the Bio-Lizard and the Ark won't be in this movie, yet here I am. I think that would be taking the term adaptation a little bit too far, though, and all of this could easily just be being saved for a later reveal. Not to mention, what would there be for Shadow and Sonic to team up against in the end? Yeah, everything's gonna be just fine, right? Though, desperation against the advice of Tails, Sonic is forced to approach Robotnik for help, and then we're greeted with the movie's version of Eggman we've all been waiting for. In his own words, if he can't rule the world, he might as well save it. You have to imagine, Robotnik has an angle here. I know he will also help at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, but that was only after he was left with no choice, and it was him himself who released Shadow and set that game's events in motion, so it made sense. Here, I don't know. barely noticeable in the next scene. And we're to Team Sonic to stop Shadow, who gets his fucking motorbike, by the way. And then we see what most people seem to think show is a space colony arc. This could conceivably be a giant mustache blades we all know and love, but it really cut off picture. It could also be what looks like this would be the same ship we saw in London. I'm hopeful, but I'm still not sure. Then we see Team Sonic talking with someone in a gun uniform in a chow-themed restaurant before saving them from a missile attack. Then we get to see this exchange between Sonic and Shadow. What did you do? What I had to. The orchestral version of Live and Learn that plays over these next few scenes is awesome. But I hope this is just for the trailer, and it's the proper version with lyrics in the movie itself. I don't think an orchestral version will pack quite the same punch. At least I know it won't for me. Now, I won't hold my breath though. With the music direction, these movies usually take it, and it could end up being anything. On a more positive note, I only got increasingly sold on Keanu Reeves as Shadow. It's crazy how many childhoods he's probably going to define by voicing the Black Blur. Whole new generations of fans will be introduced to the character by him, and remembering how awesome the experience was the first time for me, it really is something special. He signed up for, and if it could be David Humphrey or Jason Griffith, I'm glad it's him. After grinding up the skyscraper on his bike like a badass, Shadow and Sonic clash in a nod to the Sonic Adventure 2 opening. And then we get probably the biggest narrative change and reveal of the entire trailer. Gerald Robotnik's grandfather is still alive. And as the two embrace each other, we are left with 1,000,001 questions about what the change might be in the story. Like I know, execution by firing squad probably wasn't on the cards for this movie. But I honestly wasn't expecting Gerald to be alive. So what does that mean for the art? Where is the Bio-Lizard? Was it Gerald who would be Shadow in this universe? Regardless of the answer to any of these questions, I get the impression both the action and story for this movie will be fast and furious. And I'm finding it harder and harder to see how the likes of Amy or Rouge can fit in anywhere. Not while making their appearance meaningful anyway. Overall, though, I'm extremely optimistic for this movie. You can easily see the care and attention that went into everything. And while it is disappointing that we may not get to see everyone or everything, we can finally get to see what I believe the creators have the best interest in the movie series at heart. And I don't want to see them half-ass Amy or Rouge. And I can also recognize the hard work that went into adapting what is a pretty convoluted story onto the big screen. The visual effects are stunning. They're tackling the difficult subject matter, and I'm confident Keanu as Shadow will pay off big time. And even with all that said, I get the feeling there's a lot more to be revealed. And that when things will end up being even better, but now I'd like to hear what you guys think. Are you sold on the third movie already, like me, or do you still have reservations? And what did you think of Keanu Reeves as Shadow? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to turn on notifications to see more BLG content. If you'd like to support the channel and see your name credited at the end of my videos, you can always check out my Patreon or become a channel member. Your support is much appreciated, and a huge thank you to those of you who already have. But for now, a big thank you for watching, and always, guys, take care.